that gold card was just a symbolic token of appreciation. She did all that tokenization for nada. Karma.
So you mean to tell me that Nicki Minaj got on here telling people, well, I got my Trump card, this gold card of citizenship, and because of my great president allegedly, and da-da-da-da-da, just for the White House to come out and say, oh no, that wasn't citizenship, baby, that was a souvenir for your contribution. They said, thank you for your contribution, girl. That'll be all from you. That'll be all. And you know, what I want people to understand is that when it comes to politics, okay, politicians will use you and abuse you for what they need, and once they accomplish what they need, who are you? Who are you? You're speaking out so adamantly about this man, and he don't care about you, girl. You see how fast they cleared that up? You see how fast they cleared that up when you was talking about some, well, exactly. They said, let me just clear this up real quick. We don't want anybody thinking, we actually gave a woman who looks like she's of African American descent anything. Allegedly for educational purposes. Anyway, goodbye.
There's a moment that always happens when celebrity, politics, and ego collide. It's the moment where the headlines shift from exclusive access to clarification issued. And that's exactly where Nicki Minaj finds herself right now. Because what started as a public show of proximity to power quickly turned into something else entirely, a reminder that in politics, symbolism often matters more than people. Over the past few days, social media has been buzzing after Nicki shared what appeared to be a gold-colored card associated with Donald Trump. The implication was clear. This was being framed as something meaningful, something official, something that suggested special status. For fans and critics alike, the message landed loudly. It looked like validation, it looked like access, it looked like reward. But then came the clarification. According to the White House, the card Nicki received was not part of any formal immigration or citizenship pathway. It wasn't a fast-track document, it wasn't tied to residency, naturalization, or legal status. It was described as a symbolic token, a souvenir, essentially, a gesture of appreciation, not a mechanism of power. And that distinction changed everything, because when you strip away the shine, what's left isn't influence, it's optics.
My favorite thing about the Nicki Minaj news cycle is that she got played. The Trump administration played directly in her face. She posted a picture of the Trump gold card and said, "Welp." Then she posted about how her citizenship paper is on the way and she's about to become a citizen. Well, if you guys aren't familiar with the Trump Gold Card program, it is for high net worth individuals that if they invest $1 million or more into the American economy, they get this Trump Gold Card and they will be on fast track to be a permanent resident, then a citizen. Well, the White House came out and said, actually, let's pump the brakes. The gold card that Nicki Minaj got is not actually a Trump gold card. It's just a memento. It's a fake. So it doesn't mean anything. So she doesn't get the fast track towards citizenship. This is coming from the girl who tweeted in 2018 that she came over from Trinidad and she was alone from her mother and she doesn't want to see kids separated from her mom. And she turned that page very quickly when it was time for her to cozy up to the fascist leader who's doing the same exact thing that she said she was against. So while you want to coon up and coon down and make videos with Katie Miller, and act like you are the conservative queen, they played in your face. They used you the same way they use the Latinos, the same way they use all coons, and you got played with because you're still a immigrant. Peace.
To understand why this moment is hitting so hard, you must look at the larger context. Nicki Minaj's public political alignment hasn't always been consistent, but it has been vocal. Years ago, she spoke openly about immigration concerns and the emotional toll of family separation experiences rooted in her own story. Those statements resonated deeply with fans who saw her as someone speaking from lived experience rather than ideology. Fast forward to now, and the contrast is stark. In recent weeks, Nicki has positioned herself as a visible supporter of Trump, appearing at events aligning herself with conservative messaging and publicly embracing a role that many didn't see coming. That pivot alone sparked backlash, but the gold card moment poured gasoline on it. Because to critics, it looked like transactional politics. Support loudly, show loyalty publicly, receive something in return. Except she didn't. What makes this situation especially uncomfortable is how quickly the narrative was corrected. The moment it became clear that people believed this card represented real status, officials moved fast to clarify that it did not. There was no ambiguity, no wiggle room, no, we'll explain later. Just affirm, this is not what you think it is. And that speed matters. It signals that while celebrities may be useful for attention, they are not always protected once that attention becomes inconvenient. Visibility is welcomed. Until it creates confusion the institution doesn't want to manage. That's where a lot of people feel Nicki miscalculated. Because this isn't just about one card. It's about the assumption that proximity equals power, that loyalty equals leverage, that praise guarantees protection. History says otherwise.
Nicki Minaj is being called a sellout after saying she's Donald Trump's #1 fan and getting this. So Nicki attended the Trump Account Summit where she was getting real close with Trump. And what makes this even crazier, just a few weeks ago, a petition to deport Nicki Minaj was going viral with over 70,000 signatures. But then in a wild turn of events, Nicki showed off her new Trump Gold card, which can reportedly speed up the process for US residency and citizenship. The card typically requires making a $1 million donation, but after praising Trump so hard,
I am probably the president's #1 fan.
he apparently gave it to her for free. Considering her old tweet on how she came into the country, some people are disappointed with Nicki saying she sold her soul, while others are saying you gotta do what you gotta do.
Politicians use celebrities the same way brands do for reach, credibility, and access to new audiences. Once that purpose is served, the relationship often ends quietly. And when clarification is needed, it's usually swift and impersonal. No special treatment, no exception, and no loyalty returned. Meanwhile, the public response has been brutal. Online, Nicki is being labeled everything from opportunistic to misguided. Some fans feel betrayed, others feel embarrassed on her behalf. And then there's the numbers, petitions, unfollows, boycotts, and visible drops in listener engagement that began circulating almost immediately after her political appearances. Whether those numbers hold long term is still unclear. Nicki Minaj is a global artist with a massive catalog and a loyal fan base. Careers like that don't disappear overnight. But reputation damage doesn't need permanence to be effective, it only needs momentum. And momentum is what this story has right now. What's interesting is how quickly the tone shifted from outrage to disbelief. People aren't just angry, they're confused. Confused about why someone at her level would step into such a visibly polarized space without fully understanding the mechanics behind it. Some argue she knew exactly what she was doing, that any attention is good attention, that controversy keeps names trending and algorithms moving. Others believe she genuinely expected something more tangible, and that's where the disappointment comes from, because when you publicly align yourself with power, you're making a bet that the relationship will be mutual, a bet that loyalty will be acknowledged, and when that bet doesn't pay out, the loss is public. There's also the deeper layer here, the one that keeps coming up in these conversations, the idea that certain supporters are welcomed as symbols but not embraced as equals, that access doesn't always mean inclusion. Whether intentional or not, this moment has reignited that discussion in a big way, and maybe that's the real takeaway. Not that Nicki Minaj made a political choice people didn't like, not that she faced backlash for it, but that the illusion of power can be far more dangerous than opposition. At the end of the day, this situation isn't about a gold card. It's about the reminder that politics is transactional by design, and unless you're holding real leverage, you're usually the transaction. In spaces where power is involved, symbolism is cheap, loyalty is temporary, and once the cameras stop rolling, clarity arrives fast. And when it does, it rarely favors the person who thought they were special. If this situation made you look at celebrity politics a little differently, hit like, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts. Did she miscalculate, or was this always the plan?